So I've got to the point that I really enjoy. I got the FC into the garage. I got it so it was able to drive around the yard and capable of getting in and out of the garage on its own power. So at this point, I start evaluating what I want to do first. What's good about getting it in the garage is this is where most of my tools are, my welder, and anything, good lighting, anything else that I need, chargers, anything for the battery. It's a little tougher to work on it outside, working in the elements, definitely during this time of year. So it's good now, I have it in the garage and I can start planning on what I'm going to do. The first priority for me was finding the VIN number. When I bought this, the VIN tag was missing. And so I went on faith that I could find the VIN number on the frame so I could get it registered. So I did find it after looking on the internet and finding out where the possible locations are. They told me it would be above the rear passenger side tire, which I looked on the frame and sure enough it was there. So since then I was able to take that VIN number, get it verified by the police, and get it registered. So that was a good hurdle to get to, along with getting it in the garage. So at this point now, I start evaluating, what do I want to do with this? Do I want to totally restore it, bolt by bolt, panel by panel? I feel like I don't want to do that. I have got a lot of input that people love the finish, the patina that is original with this vehicle. So I feel like I'm gonna go with that option. Although I do like the look of when they're totally painted and brought back to looking like new. The only downfall with bringing it back to looking like new is you start worrying about it more. You start worrying about every little dent, every little scratch, every little defect, and it becomes more of a show truck. That isn't what I had in mind with this vehicle. I wanted this to be something that I could bring to shows, enjoy it as a work truck too. I want to be able to throw 2x4s in the bed. I want to be able to jump in it and not worry about, denting the door or, I'm usually pretty good with things regardless, but I don't want to have to worry about every little dent and ding. Also, I do have a bed for this too that Shane and I took off when we initially got it to make it easier to work on, so I still have to refinish that. So I think where I'm gonna start is I want it to be able to run easier and drive easier. And up to this point, what I've been doing is actually using the throttle directly on the carburetor to run it. So I want to redo the floorboard. As you can see, it's not there. So by redoing the floorboard, I will be able to mount the throttle or the gas pedal, be able to remount this in the floor, which I feel like will be important. By doing that, I'll have to attach a cable that goes from that mechanism all the way back to the carburetor, which I was looking at it and it isn't too bad to do. I'm going to show in future videos how I template the floorboards. I usually just use flat 14 gauge cold roll steel. The cold roll steel lasts a little longer than just regular steel. So what I do typically is clean up that area, paint it, make a template for the new floorboards, and actually screw it down just so I can seal both sides of the steel and seal all the surrounding areas. If I weld it in, then typically I can't seal it as good as I would like to. So that's going to be my first project. Probably the next project will be, there's a leak in the coolant reservoir. I'm going to take and braze that, see if I can seal that up. It seems like it's a leak on the seam itself and not that it's rotted out. So that will be the next project after that. Then I think the next stage, once I get the title back for this, and I know that there's no issues with the registering and ownership of this, then I'll start buying parts. I want to buy the rear springs and shackles and get this brought back to be the way it should be, not this wooden structure. But I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a fun project. I'm still deciding whether I want to work on this first, or the Willys, or work on, when I say Willys, they're actually both Willys, but more the CJ Jeep vehicle that I have, or just concentrate on one or the other. I want to at least get them both so they're easily drivable in the yard, so I can pull it in and out of the garage. But if you're interested in following whatever project we do, you can like and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try to put out a video once a week. This will probably be the last video I do this type of the overall view of this vehicle. I might do future overall views of it once I get more and more work done, just to see the progress. But after this will be more specific jobs, like replacing the board. I'll show the floorboards. I'll show the templating that we do. I've got the idea on templating the floorboards by the way we template copper pans. I'm actually a plumber by trade, so I'll show you how we do that. To go back a little bit to talk about restoring this FC, my philosophy with these vehicles, I don't have a lot of money to put into buying all new parts, you know, trying to make it a vehicle that you'd bring to Pebble Beach or to really high-end auto shows. You know, I don't want to make it a trailer queen. My objective with these old vehicles, I like to make them really mechanically sound. I want to bring back the structure of the vehicle. I want it to have good brakes, good brake lines, good master cylinder. I want the motor to run really good. I want all the parts to work. I want the lights to work. But I'm not looking to dump a lot of money into these vehicles. My philosophy, I'm kind of like the middleman between them going to a salvage yard and somebody that really wants to do a total restoration. What I do is restore them as far as I'm comfortable with doing. And then in the future, I plan to sell these vehicles. And if a person wants to bring it to the next level, they have a good starting point. They have all the mechanical part of it working. If they choose, they can buy new body panels. They can make it look perfect. But for me, I'm happy with bringing them back to a point where they're mechanically sound. Because I've seen in the past people doing this type of work, and they basically redo the whole vehicle. There really isn't much left to it. They replace the motor, they replace the chassis, they replace the tires, which this needs new tires, but they replace everything, and really all that's left is the VIN number. That isn't what I want to do. I want to keep the essence of the vehicle. I want to keep it as original as I can. Because some people might watch this and go, wow, why don't you just get new panels, get a new door, get a new, front grille? But I feel like at that point, I'm just buying a new vehicle. the fun of it is the challenge of bringing things back to life. You know, you'll notice that more with the CJ. CJ's in horrible shape. A lot of people might say, why don't you just get a new tub for it and just call it a day? It's going to be much easier, faster. But for two reasons. I like to keep things original as much as I can. And the other thing, it gets very costly. Then it limits you to the amount that you can do. You know, at this point I have 4 of these old vehicles, and I just enjoy experiencing the drive of them, the fun of bringing it to car shows, people seeing them. And then at some point I'm gonna sell them and just move on. And the next person, they can take it all apart, bolt by bolt, and do that restoration, which I have huge respect for people that do that. But I'm just not that person. But it's fun, it's enjoyable. I figured I would share it with everybody. I have a lot of people that are interested in this. They never have seen one of these, and it's just fun to bring it to this area.